Sha-la-la-la. Oh my God! What will we do, baby, without love? You know I'm gonna put that on the video. What will we do, baby, without love? In the some. I don't remember it. All I remember, right. What will we do, baby? Sha-la-la. Yeah, you remember that?
What would we do, baby, without us? What would we do, baby, without us? And there ain't no nothing we can't love each other through.
Hey guys, we're 3Peace and aBizkit.
Again, thank you to all of our followers. We are now at, I think it's 450 something likes on Facebook. So thank you so much for that. We actually want to get to 500, so let's push it up a little bit. And also for Instagram, we only at 72. We would like to see that at 100 by the end of the week, hopefully, fingers crossed. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, 3Peace and aBizkit. So click that link, share that page, like the page, subscribe, tell your friends, co-workers, whoever. We want to get those subscribers up on YouTube as well. So that brings us to our topic of discussion.
Yes, I'm excited.
Oh, wait a minute. Before we start, look at our new gear we got on today.
Yes.
So if you notice from the first video, we all got little sayings that we say all the time. Like I'm always calling somebody extra. Chris is always saying but again and
I don't care.
You already know what you're
So I have a question for you guys. What is your definition of family?
That's, family could be blood, of course. And family could also be close friends that you gain a relationship with over the years. Like I've had friends, 15 plus years that I consider family. So
family is those who invest in you just as much as you invest in them. And it could be blood, it could be your friends, but I don't think family is always who you're related to. Family is who, who's always present with you. People that make themselves present, people that make their presence known.
right, they show up for you.
Yeah, they show up. That's family for me.
Well, Google's definition of family is a group of parents and children living in a household together. I believe a family is a group of people who share the same beliefs in love. Because just because we're parents, just because we're children, doesn't mean that we love the same. For instance, like in my household, I can say just because my parents, they clothe me, they feed me, that was their way of love. But I wasn't receiving that love emotionally because I can't even tell you guys the last time love was even said in the home.
So you guys never were like, oh, good night, I love you, or when you're leaving out the house, like, give me a hug, I love you, see you later.
No, even trying to give a hug or anything, it's awkward, But I have my friends, of course, I consider you family. We've been knowing each other for years, and I say I love you. I have no problem with that. There's my god sister Brittany. I tell her I love her. And it just comes naturally because we share that same belief and the same concepts of love and family. I think that's why I'm so. Everybody's like, oh, you always baby Taryn. I don't think that I baby her. I never had that love. I never felt that love emotionally. So that's why I make sure I give that to her and show her that type of love also.
I think we as kids, we always grew up like hugging our parents. We always grew up, saying goodnight, saying I love you. I don't think my parents have always been comfortable with it because I'm not sure that their parents were always comfortable with it. So it is an uncomfortable thing, but for the sake of us, my parents would always hug us and always say they loved us and always say goodnight. Even my father, he was not a hugger, but he forced himself to hug us at night before bed and to say he loved us and say goodnight. And you could tell it was uncomfortable for him, but again, for the sake of our family, for the sake of us knowing that he cared about us, like he forced himself to say it, he forced himself to do it, and I don't think that's a bad thing because the more you practice love, the more you can give it to somebody else. So we appreciated him for that, and I mean a lot of situations brought that on, like where he felt like, man, it's kind of weird, it's kind of awkward. So I get it, but you know, we grew up in the I love you, good night, like we grew up in that kind of dynamic, even though it wasn't always like for real, if that makes sense.
Yeah, understandable. How do you feel? So I feel like friends, certain people come in your life for a season so you can gain what you need from the situation, and they go about your life. You know, go about your day, go about your life. Do you feel that in a family dynamic, you are just supposed to be with that family for a certain amount of time to learn your life lessons so you can branch off by yourself? Don't necessarily need, just because I understand they're family, they're blood, but maybe they're just there just to teach you what you need to move on in life.
I definitely agree with that to a certain extent, because I feel like your family, they do set you up for life. Like, you know, family, they're your first friends, your first teachers, your first enemies, you know. So I definitely agree with that. So
Yes and no. You know, for everything there's a season. For everything there's a time, an appointed time. What I don't like that people promote is brokenness. Like sometimes we use people come in your life for a reason in the season. We use that as an excuse to cut people off, and I think we have a really bad habit of saying that only because we just ready to get rid of people. So I don't think people.
Let me tell you, I'm going to protect my peace at all costs. So that means if I have to cut you out of my life to keep my saneness, to keep my sanity, to keep my peace, keep that toxicity out of my life, then by all means, I don't care, mother, father, brother, sister, cousin, grandma, whoever, you gotta go.
You gotta protect
and I agree with protecting your peace and protecting a peace of mind to a certain extent, but you know, we're talking about brokenness. Like, we're so comfortable with brokenness that even if those people are toxic, even if those people don't protect our peace, we cut them off, not because they're toxic or because they're not full of peace, but because we don't want to deal with it. Like, I have family and friends that can be toxic and they bring a lot of drama, but I make sure that every time I see them, like, and you know, it's not like I'm saying that you gotta be around them all the time and you have to find a way to deal with them, to be around them, but like at some point, like, that is your family, those are your people, like, you find ways to deal with them. So let's just say,
why do you have to deal with them?
Just because they family doesn't mean you have to deal with them.
But that's just how I feel though. Let's just say I know that Tasha, my cousin, I'm going to visit Tasha, and I know Tasha, she got an expiration time of 15 minutes. I'm going to spend all 15 minutes with her just so she know that she's my family and that I care. That's just the type of person I am. So even with siblings, we all know we have siblings, and siblings get on our nerves too. I make sure that every encounter that I have with my siblings is a positive one, even if they get on my nerves, even if they're, you know, times where, you know, my siblings may not have been my peace or vice versa. All those encounters, I make sure that, okay, before I go over there, this is what it's gonna be. And when the time comes, you know, like some of my family members, you know, I know that I can be over there for about an hour, and after that hour, everything finna pop off. And every time I leave, the show do pop off. I know that after that hour, hey, all right,
but why
y'all,
even
I'll
put
see
yourself
you
in that
right.
position? Because you have to walk. You feel like you're walking on eggshells. Let me not say this. Let me not do this. Oh, something about to pop off. Why not be? That's not a healthy environment.
But the environment is healthy for me because I bring the environment.
No,
so the difference is I don't have to be a certain way. I don't have to act a certain way. I go and I'm myself and I'm bringing that positive energy, blah blah. And if it lasts 60 minutes, then it lasts 60 minutes. All right, y'all. I'll see you later. You've seen it. All right, y'all. I'll see you later. You leaving? Yeah. I love you. I love you.
Tasha,
Be encouraged. I'll see y'all later. and that 60 minutes that they encountered with me is the best 60 minutes they had, and then it can pop off all y'all want to.
But some people are just so negative
all
and
the
so
time.
toxic. And then it's not just about me. I got a daughter. So I don't want to subject her to that either. Like,
Exactly.
bring her into that,
Exactly.
what do you call it? What do you call it? The word. The word.
Oh, dynamic.
Bring her into that dysfunction.
No.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for.
I mean, yeah, that's just like I said, that's just me. I prefer to not have brokenness. I prefer to bring some sort of wholeness when I come. So even if it is, that cousin that I always got something to say, I'm like, hey, I've already thought of a way to make sure that you.
What if you were raised in that negative? What if you were brought up in that
was
negative?
raised in that negative. I was brought up with that
and
negative.
you still,
I was brought up with those people.
At
and
some
I
point
still
you get
find
frustrated.
a way. Sure you do. But I still find a way to go around these people and make sure that was the best encounter that they've ever had with me.
I can't do that.
And you've witnessed it. You've seen it. You've seen me around family. You've seen me around siblings. You've seen me around people that get on my nerves, or that bother me. Like, I just make sure that, if it's 10 minutes, if it's 5 minutes. Like, if I know it only take you 5 minutes to pop off, I give you 4 minutes and 53 seconds. I'm just
a good man, because I don't have that type of energy. Like,
I don't have the patience, and my mouth is too slick.
Yes.
You know my mouth ain't always right sometimes. But I gotta make before I
I
go.
be like, Holy Ghost.
That's why I fill myself up all week with positive energy. So it's in a situation that I have to
but
that I have
sad,
to release it.
Though, that you have to do that you have to mentally prepare all week to spend one day with your family.
But again, everybody ain't well like we.
No, I can't do that.
Everybody ain't well. So if we're always hanging out with well people, who's helping everybody else get well?
Why are you worried about everybody else? You're worried about yourself.
Because we are accountable to each other.
Yeah,
we are accountable to people. We are responsible for each other.
But yeah, you say that we're responsible for each other, but if they're always so negative and they don't want to make it work and they just
then there's something
toxic,
in them that needs to be different. It needs to be
just
changed. And maybe it could be you that changes their mind or their
no,
outlook.
I can't do that. There's certain family members I'm not gonna sit here. I'm disrespectful. I'm disrespectful because I finally set the tone. I distanced myself from the situation. I took my energy back. I took my positivity back.
Right.
Yes.
Reclaim my time.
Yes, I did all that because you're not going to sit here and you're not going to verbally abuse me. You're not going to emotionally abuse me. You're not going to manipulate me anymore. So, and I don't want my child to grow up in that atmosphere either. So I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just setting the tone. I'm going to step back. This is what you guys need to learn. I'm not, just because I shut down and I'm quiet and I'm not talking to you, I'm not being disrespectful. It's just boundaries now.
I agree
There's
with
just
that, and
certain
it doesn't
boundaries
mean, and I'm not saying that you should let people dish you or disrespect you. I'm just saying that if you know, like, this is a situation where, like, I gotta make sure I'm right. I gotta make sure my energy right. I gotta make sure my peace right. Like, I just for me, I just make sure I go over there and, like, that'd be the best. That'd be the best 30 minutes.
Stay in my little piece with my little my crystals, my sage, get my chakra.
But that's why it's important. So since you grew up in that dysfunction, the best thing you could do is create your own memories at home. Like,
and
spend that time with her, play those games and, do each other hair, whatever you guys do. I don't know.
And that's why.
No, she beat my head up.
And I think that's why it's important, like we said. That's why I do agree to a certain extent. All family isn't necessarily the family that you were born into. It's always not necessarily the family that you were bred into. And I have over the years and created family dynamics with friends and people that I'm close to. So yeah, those times I do, pour into other people. Those times you do get to
because you get that love back. That's family. So because you share the same beliefs in love.
But what I'm saying is all that you have practiced with these new family dynamics that you have created, we should be able to take something back to the dysfunction and try to teach them different. That's all I'm saying.
No.
We can try to teach them, but
but
some people they stuck in their ways. And some people they broke into the point of no return.
Exactly.
And it's like,
but is that a thing? Like, is anybody broken to the point of no return? Is there no return? Like,
Yes, no return.
we thought it was a no return for us, but there's always been a point where we kind of,
That is
wow.